Hi, guys.
Hi.
Hello.
Welcome to another session of what we used to call Coffee with Conscious Coaches. We've decided to change the name, and now our sessions are called Brewed Awakening. So come bring your coffee cups, join us for all conversations that are conscious, that are heartfelt, and that bring us all together. My name is Poonam. I'm a certified conscious parenting coach, and I'm founder of Possibilities Redefined.
Hi, everyone, and I'm Anna. I'm also a conscious parenting coach. I can't wait to see what today's Brewed Awakening is. This is exciting.
To see what's brewing today. What card shall we do? Hi, everyone, and I'm Fatima, and I'm also a conscious parenting coach, as well as a Montessori educator. And we're just happy to be with you all today.
All right.
And like every time, we'll pull a card from Dr. Shefali's cards, and then we'll have a discussion on what's in the card.
Okay, so ultimately, your greatest lesson as a conscious parent is to accept that your children have their own destiny over which you have little control. Oof. That is a brewed or rude awakening, right?
Yes, yeah.
So, yeah, let's discuss this. How can we accept that our children have their own life and we actually have little control over it? I think we all struggle with that because I think when they're little, when they're babies and newborns, we do have a lot of control over their lives. So innately, we learn to have control over, we try to figure out what to feed them, what to dress them with. So we make all of those little choices, and then we get used to that. Except when the terrible two phase comes upon us, I think that's our first awakening, to push the brakes and understand that kids have their own wills. And through my experience of reading tons of parenting books for my work as a doula and postpartum doula, the strategy to connect with 2-year-olds is always give them choices. And so you give them choices because they're ready to make their own decisions. Like they choose if they want blue or green. Yes, you're the one who's choosing those 2 or 3 choices, but it's a way for us to learn to let go of control. And then when they're 4, a little bit more choice. And then when they're 5 and 6, they dress on their own. And I find myself now with my son, and he's a boy. He doesn't really care about clothes all that much, but he's almost 9 and I can't buy clothes for him anymore. I used to buy his, maybe jackets and kind of winter clothes. And now I've noticed he has a say in everything. So I don't even, we'll go shopping together and he can choose what he wants. And I sit and notice what's important to him. And it's how easy the zipper goes up and how, like, if it has pockets so he can put his stuff in, like, it's all practical stuff for whatever he needs to do. He doesn't care about the colors so much or how it looks put together. And that's been my experience over the years, realizing like they have a choice and a say, and what's important to them might not match with what's important to me as a parent. And in a lot of instances, I think I can, we can let go and let them have their say in it.
Definitely. You know what? Everyone wants autonomy. And we don't realize that. Our children are born through us, but they are individuals in their own right. And when we project our unmet needs on them, we think that we are doing them a favor because we are fearful of what the future might bring for them. So the intention of a parent is not wrong. The intention is to protect the child and keep them safe and present the child in the ways that is acceptable by the society's checklist. But in doing so, we are actually trying to change who they are and what they stand for and their authenticity. We don't even see that. I've done that to my kids, you know? Like if my sons were going for a birthday party, they had to dress in a certain way because I wanted them to present in a certain way, which I thought is acceptable in a birthday party.
Mhm.
So for me, that projection of me wanting to be presented in a certain way that is acceptable, I was showing a path to my children that it is more important to be accepted than to be happy. But I
And that's
didn't
the
know.
message they get, right? Because we don't
Yes.
see it, but they do. And
Yes.
because they can't express it, they just kind of let it be and accept it, but it does change them. Yeah.
Yes. And the other thing that I think about is autonomy. If we don't give them an opportunity to make decisions for themselves, and someone else is constantly telling them what is right, they will not have the confidence in their own self when they grow up as adults to make decisions because they'll doubt themselves all the time. Because as a parent, we were always telling them, you're not right. So we are not giving them the opportunity to feel that they can make decisions and that their decisions are like we always label it right or wrong, whereas like it just doesn't matter. Now, from knowing what I know today, how would that matter what my son wore to someone else's birthday party? The most important thing for him would have been what he felt comfortable in and the joy he got from making a decision that was relevant to him.
Yeah.
If I had to do it all over again, it would be, I would just worry about the joy and the autonomy that my child has, because that would give him confidence in who he is.
Yeah, if I were to see, like, if I were to talk about myself, I would say that I struggled to make choices because when you don't give a child a choice, they're so used to someone else making a choice for them that when it comes to would you do like blue or green, even a simple thing like that becomes difficult because you kind of create a barrier or in front of them where they don't even know if they like that or not anymore because they kind of, well, I wouldn't say forgotten, but we kind of put barriers in front of them and they uh, were not able to now I'm not able because I lost my well, not lost it, my authentic self has been so covered up that I'm not now able to make the choice for myself. And so I think, to be honest, we get so instead of giving them the tools where they can allow themselves to just what giving them the choice, what do you like, what would you choose? This opens pathways for them to think that firstly, you make them feel like, oh, your opinion matters. You matter. Your choice matters. It doesn't matter what it is that you choose, but whatever you choose, I'm okay with it because it's your choice. And I think that we get so stuck into we have to learn to give up our ideas of who our child is. We have to see them for who it is they are. But then at the same time, also understand that your child needs to know who it is that they are. And how are they going to know who it is they are if we keep dictating or controlling what it is they should choose, what is it that they should wear, how should they look, where should they go, what's okay, what's not okay. So it comes to that we're not here to raise a puppet, someone where we here to pull strings. We're here to help the child raise themselves and give them the empowerment. And I think that's so important, because when we tell our children, stop crying or do this, or you're being like this, we're actually saying to them, stop making me feel uncomfortable. You making me feel anxious and bringing up all these feelings within me. And that's when you realize it has nothing to do about the child, and it has everything to do with how whatever they're doing is bringing up certain feelings within me.
Yeah, that was so deep. And I think every parent feels that what you just said, Fati, about stop making me feel this way. By being you, you're making me feel, out of control, anxious, angry, whatever emotion, scared, sad. And then that's when control arises. So we're actually trying to control our own emotions by changing our kid so they can be a better kid. So if we turn all this around and we understand that it's our responsibility to take care of our emotions, then we can let our children be. And this is the process of growing, and all of these little things, as insignificant as they may seem, they add up. They're all tied together into our human evolution and development, right? So when you were talking, I was thinking, if we were never allowed to make choices, we're just underdeveloped children in adult bodies. And we know from the work that we do with our clients that if this is the case and this is an impediment in the connection with the child, then we work on this. So we work with the adult to learn to make choices, and we start week by week with homework. Okay, let's give you 2 easy choices. Were you able to do them? And if not, let's see why not. So in a way, it's never too late, right? But so important to understand that when they're little, these little choices set them up for healthy autonomy and for healthy agency and for good, solid development that they carry on throughout their life.
Yeah, and we don't realize that this is setting up their subconscious. So they are not conscious about what they're learning because they have no control over their environment, but their subconscious is constantly learning this. So the adult in the equation needs to understand what you are providing for that subconscious to learn. And the other thing is when, like the card said, about the destiny of a child. As a parent, we do all of this. We have good intentions in our heart, but we kind of trying to project as if we have control over their destiny. By doing these things, they would have a good life, or whatever you term as a successful life. But time and time again, we have experiences and examples where no matter what you do, you cannot change someone's destiny, not even your children's. Okay, so the control that we think we have is all in our heads, and we still don't have any control.
Exactly. That's the funny thing. We don't.
But in trying to control that, we do so much of other damage that impacts that child forever. I couldn't say forever, but when they become an adult and if they choose the path to unlearn what they've learned, they can do that. Like all three of us are doing, and so many of our colleagues and other people who are on the path of consciousness, we are unlearning. But there is little control that the parent has. Come to think of it, even if you think you're changing things for them, like, when I was born, my mom would have had lots of expectations of what my future would be. But I lost her when I was 11. So she never got to see the destiny.
Mm,
So there are certain things that are totally out of your control.
mm,
So if we understand the basic principles of the universe, living in the present moment, enjoying what we have, and not trying to control everything, and welcoming what nature brings to us, we would be joyful in our children's presence because of what they bring to us. There is so much profound learning in how they interact with everyday things, like with curiosity and with so much joy. And we, as parents, with obviously good intentions, kill it bit by bit.
yeah.
That's the sad part.
Yeah. And it's hard, but so easy, because you just have to connect to present moment, to today, to right now, to what we're doing in this moment with your child. And it's not about perfection, and it's not about, full freedom of like, do whatever you want. It's about connecting. When we connect in the present moment, then things arise in us. Knowledge comes up so we know what to do. But if we're distracted in the future, tied to some ideas of what our kids need to be, then we cannot hear the presence. So then the anxiety comes up because we have to come up with solution, right? I'm learning this as I go through all of this work, and I see how hard it is even for me to bring myself into the present moment and trust it, that knowledge will come up, and I don't have to necessarily choose or know where I'm going, what I'm doing at every single step. We can also start to trust and then do, experiential in the moment. Just try a little bit of present moment and see what that does to the connection with the child. And then it'll make sense for you and whatever you guys need as mom, dad, and child.
Yeah, I think it's important to remember that we're here to connect with the child and with the present moment. We're not here it is not connect to me, my fantasy and my needs. Let's connect to what the present moment is here to offer us. It's what is the need behind the child's behavior? What does the child need? It's to connect to the need of the child, not to our needs and fantasies of our ideas of our child. And I think that's important to remember always.
Yeah, definitely. Our children are not here to serve us and meet our needs. They're individuals in their own right.
Yeah.
And I think what blocks us from our instinct, our natural inclination towards things, our intuition, this is what blocks us, right? Because we know it, we feel it from ourselves, our authentic, we feel it, we have the initial, but because we're so conditioned and we're told how to be, how to act, what to like, that we're not aware of that authentic self that keeps showing up. So we hear the voice, but we shut it down and we're like, okay, I'll rather go for that. But deep inside, you know that that's not the choice you really want or made. Because your first instinct was the correct one. But then we kind of I wouldn't say stumble over, but we kind of like cover our
facade.
Yeah, we suppress our authentic self just to then we learn to please other people, or if that would make someone else happy, or So we kind of just, like we say, we put on all these masks.
Yeah. So it's basically our unhealed wounds that we are projecting. It was very hard for me to understand, the saying, you see who you are. And I used to think how, and now I see it so much in my interactions with other people, because I keep seeing who I am. And then if it doesn't conform with what I have learned from the society, the facades that I have created, I label it as wrong or bad and not good enough. And that's what we teach our children. So we are not even aware that we are doing it. So the first thing that we need to understand is that we need to become aware that we are trying to control. And when we talk about all of this, we are still in charge of our children for their safety and well-being. So I'm not saying not to have any boundaries. If it is affecting the child's safety, we need to have those boundaries. But apart from that, we need to give them room to play, to understand, to figure out, to kind of explore who they are, and not learn from us as to who we want them to be.
Yeah, and that comes through making mistakes, right? Like with the birthday party, like, yeah, there might be an attire. And if your kid goes in swim shorts to a birthday party,
yeah,
I'm sure he'll learn on his own experience that maybe swim shorts is too much. And then next birthday party, he'll put on some t-shirt and shorts. But we have to give them the opportunity to learn on their own, to pick up the vibe. Like kids will learn because their senses are open, and it's just our perception and illusion really that they are blank and they don't know unless we tell them. But if we step back and allow them some time to discover, it might take them a little bit of time, right? We have to be patient with that. They will discover on their own what's right and how to live in a society and the culture that they live in, because they pick up all of this stuff.
Yeah, as they go. And simple things like you said about wearing swimming shorts, So let's say it's really cold outside and you're trying to tell your child, wear a jacket, and they don't. So, but you need to ensure that it's going to be cold, that they don't get sick. So you can always say, okay, if you don't feel like wearing a jacket, I'm carrying the jacket with you in case you need it later. So you've still given them the autonomy to make that decision, but when they feel cold, you've got the jacket.
Yeah.
So you can be creative in your responses.
Yeah, I like that. Not, like often parents tend to go, oh, well, you should have listened to me and you should have worn the jacket. So now feel cold. No.
That's punishment. Yeah. Because now we're like, well,
I was right.
Right. But if we do this when they're little, by the time they're 8 and 9, then they will learn. The other fear I think is that I can't just carry all his stuff for him because I'm not his maid, right? But when children learn to choose, that's when autonomy kicks in, and then they learn to be responsible. So then by 8, 9, they can suffer the consequences. It's like, you have to take a jacket. Ooh, I forgot it, but that's okay. My son will say that. He's like, I was a little cold, but it was fine. And then next time he knows, like, I'll put a jacket in my backpack and carry it. Yeah. But again, it's all of these little things when they're 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is why developmental years take so long, so that all of this can be fully developed by the time they're preteens and independent and want more independence from us as parents.
Yeah. So you take age-appropriate actions, but support them. You still don't take their autonomy away from them. Yeah. And try to control their destiny, because it's not in our control anyways.
Yeah. Great chat. Thank you, everyone. And we'll see you next week.